Hi everyone, Jaffe here, and welcome back to Around the World in Many Days. Today's episode is number 30 and it's titled Tropical Rhythm's Slight Return. Now, if you're confused about the title, yes, this is a different puzzle than last time. Number 29 was just Tropical Rhythms, just indicating that probably somewhat similar destination this time. We have another crossword for you. Let's read the preamble. So here we are. In this crossword, there are no word boundaries. Answers are written one after the other, each sharing at least one letter with the preceding answer. Each row contains one extra across clue whose answer does not fit in the grid. So those are the rules of the crossword. And then there's the destination. So I really liked my previous destination, so I decided to continue in much of the same vein today. I have taken a tour of a tropical rainforest, admiring the local flora and fauna, and taking a dip in a lovely natural pool deep in the forest. Can you guess where I am? Love, Gladys. So we are looking for some kind of forest destination here, and we have some crossword clues below the grid here. Now this is not a cryptic. We've had this before, sort of fill the blanks type crossword. So let's just dive in. So all we need to know is that there's going to be one answer horizontally that doesn't fit anywhere, and we can probably tell somehow which answer that is. But let's start from the top row. Let's start filling the crossword. So we have 7A, something from Alcatraz, a film starring Clint Eastwood. Now this is a film title, and the missing answer, missing letter, missing word that we're looking for here is escape. So escape from Alcatraz. And I'm going to put it in the grid. Like we don't know, this could be the extra word, and this wouldn't go here in the grid. But if it does go in the grid, it starts from here. And if it does, then the next answer should share at least some of the letters. So at least this E is going to be in the next answer if both of those are in the actually in the grid. So let's start looking at this. So something banks, barrier islands on the US East Coast. Now this is going to be Outer Banks, and immediately we see that that's not going to work with this E here. Outer does contain an E, but it doesn't fit here. So either the outer or the escape is going to be our extra word on this row, meaning that C, 7C, D, and E definitely are in the are going to be put in the grid here. Now, do we look at C then, or do we start from the other end? Maybe let's start from the other end, because we know this answer. We don't know how long it is, but we know it ends here, so we can feel it from this side. So 7E is Anima, an album by, and then we need the musical artist that recorded an album by this name, and there's only one. It's the band called Tool. So Tool goes here, and then here we know that this is now correct, and we know that this T is at least going to be shared. It could be multiple letters, but at least this T. So 7D then is going to be Palo something, a city in the Bay Area. And so this is Palo Alto, 4-letter answer here. Alto missing from here, and that shares these two letters. So actually we just put AL in the grid, and now this C should we can actually maybe remove this for now because we're not sure whether that goes in or not. And now this C is going to share at least this A here. So something code, a collection of criminal laws. Now a collection of criminal laws is a penal code, and that works with this A and L. And now we had two options for this first word. One was escape and one was outer. Well, outer doesn't work here, so it was indeed escape. That was our correct answer here. And outer, this 7B was the extra word. Now we can probably use these these checking letters for the down clues. I'm thinking in which order we should do this. Um, I think it might be the most useful to do these downs first, because that way we don't have to guess at the acrosses which ones we need to remove. Like in here, we saw that there was only one that doesn't fit with the others because it has to share some letters. But I think it's easier if we do the downs first. Then when we see immediately if something doesn't fit in the grid. So let's actually jump to the down clues now and start with this one down. So these work similarly. You have to share one letter at least, but these all go in the grid, unlike the acrosses. So let's see. Something people, natives of South Africa and its northern neighbor. Now you have to have a map somewhere or just know what the northern neighbor of South Africa is. I have a map on the wall here, but I actually do know it. So it's Botswana. And the natives of Botswana are the Tswana people, Tsawana. And there are a bunch of those people in South Africa as well. So Tswana, which fits this S here, it's going to be our first down answer. And now we need to share this A at least, or possibly multiple letters. So yes and something, the opposing sides of a vote. Now yay is a supporting vote, and an opposing vote would be a nay. So nays, like this, NAYS, sharing this N and A. And then we need to share this S at least. So something, the nickname of NBA's S. O'Neal. And this would be Shaquille O'Neal, whose nickname was Shaq, SHAQ. And now we did something wrong. Let's just see. I'm missing. I thought we don't have any clues left, and we're missing one letter. But actually, Tswana has a W here, which I didn't write in. So Tswana, then Nays this way, and then Shaq goes like this. Okay, now it makes more sense. So Tswana, Nays, and Shaq. I was just missing one letter there. All right, so we have all the answers for one down. So let's look at two then. Sword and Something, a genre of films such as The Last Days of Pompeii. Now this is the film genre sword and sandal films. So sort of historical films. And The Last Days of Pompeii was one of them. So sword and sandal, and we now need to share at least this L here. Something, part of the ear or the brain. So part of either of those things, starting with an L. When there's an earlobe, and your brain has lobes. So LOBE, lobe, can mean either of those things. And now we have one final answer for this too, and it's sharing at least this E. Joseph Biden III, better known as what? And this is the son of Joe Biden, the U.S. president, and he went by not Joe but Bo Biden, B-E-A-U, B-E-A-U, I should say, like that, Bo Biden. And that is our final answer for this two down. Now let's look at threes. So three also has three answers. In fact, do these all have three answers? They do, yeah. So we have three answers for each of these down stretches here. So 3A is something strangely frightening, which has this E here. And something is eerie, it is strangely frightening. Spelled with two E's like that. And now we need to share this E again. So 3B, something, a glowing piece of burnt wood. A glowing piece of burnt wood would be an ember. And again, we need to share the R. So one last answer, something bewayed. landmark Supreme Court case, and this is the very famous abortion case from the US. That's Roe v. Wade. So ROE is um, the other party in that, or a name for the other party in that case. So let's move on to the 4. From something to riches. This is, if you get rich, suddenly you go from rags to riches. Rags. And again, needing to share this S here at least. Something, the capital of Bolivia. Now, Bolivia, this could have 2 possible answers. La Paz is one possibility, but that doesn't have an S. So the correct answer here is Sucre, which I think we've had before in the series, Sucre as an answer. So the capital city of Bolivia. And then we need to share this E at least, and something Abes, US songwriter. This is with purposely spelled with a non-capital letter here, because that is how his name is spelled. For some reason, it is Eden Abes. And once again, I apologize for my pronunciation, but that should go at this point. That should go without saying. So yeah, Eden Abes was a part of the hippie movement, songwriter. So that's 4 done, and now let's just finish this down so we can then look at the acrosses and figure out where exactly they go. So 5A, the shoe is on the something foot. And that's the missing word here is other. The shoe's on the other foot. The roles are reversed in some situations. So the shoe is on the other foot. Then we need to share this R again. Something under the bed. Communists secretly living in a capitalist society. Now this is somewhat historical. It's a term called Reds under the bed. Reds was or maybe is, but certainly was during the Cold War a term for communists. Reds under the bed were the sort of hidden communist elements in society. And then we have one final clue for this 5. So 5C, two main branches of Islam, Sunni and the other one is Shia, Shia. So we have 5 finished already. And now let's look at the 6. So I have 3 clues left for this down clues. Something, animals that pose a threat in the hen house. Now there are multiple predators that you probably wouldn't like to have in a hen house, but a fox in a hen house is like an idiomatic thing for something being a threat. So foxes, because we have plural animals here. Foxes is the answer there. Then we have a pretty similar clue to the one we had here, the 1A. So something people, natives of South Africa and its inner neighbor. Now it's not Botswana, which was the northern neighbor, but inner neighbor meaning something that is completely surrounded by South Africa, and that is the country of Lesotho, and that would be the Sotho people then, Sotho. And again, we need to share this O, 2 letters to insert here. Porridge, also known as something meal, and that would be oatmeal, another term for porridge. So that is all our down clues done. And now we should have a pretty good idea about what to do with these acrosses. We could figure it out without these crossing letters, but certainly it's much easier now that we have them. So let's go back to 8 across now. So in 8 across, we actually have 5 answers. 4 of them are going to go in the grid. So let's start with A here. The best something plans of mice and men. So the missing word in that quote is laid. The best laid plans of mice and men. So laid, AID, and that looks good in the grid. Then we have something Elba, British actor. We just need the person's first name, and his first name is Idris. IDRI, and I think one S, but we have another S here. But we need to share at least this S now, because his like Idris with two S's is also a name, but I think this one is with one S. Then we have HC, daddy something, another term for father complex. And another term for that would be daddy issues. And since we're sharing this I, S, S, and then we have U and then S here. So this is the final letter, the word issues here. And this is the one we have to share then with the next answer. So we still haven't got a clue that's been omitted. So it's going to be one of these final clues. Pacific something, the lands on the edges of the Pacific Ocean. So that's a geographical term, sort of the circle on the edges of the Pacific. That's the Pacific Rim, and that doesn't have an S. It doesn't go in the grid. So rim is the extra word here, which means that this one is going to go in the grid. 8E. There's a yellow blank, black blank, red blank, and white blank, all actually blue. Just have to find a word that can go in any of those places that contains this S and this E here. And that is going to be a C. So yellow sea, obviously next to China. Black Sea, between Russia and like Russia, Ukraine, Romania, those kinds of countries on the edge of Europe. Then we have Red Sea, Egypt and Saudi Arabia, and then we have White Sea, which is in the Russian Arctic. So all of those things are actual places, and a sea is like literally would be blue and not any of these colors. So C is the answer here, 8E, and we just add the A for that answer, and we're sharing this S like we are supposed to. So A is now done, and now we can look at number 9. So in 9 we only have four answers, and only 3 are going to go in the grid. So let's see. Something second person plural in the US South. Now the second person pronoun is you, and the second person plural is also you, but there are multiple versions of that in the plural, and in the US South that would be y'all, Y apostrophe ALL, and that does fit in the grid with this A and this L. So that goes in. Note, by the way, that this doesn't, even though it fits these acrosses, fits these down clues, I would say, these checking letters, it doesn't necessarily mean that this is necessarily going into the grid. Like it could clash with the word after it, meaning that it would still need to be removed. But we can pretty safely put them in if they fit these checking letters. And if we run into a contradiction that way, we can just remove that word and then try to figure out what to do with it. But it's pretty unlikely that we're going to fit all these letters and then still somehow have the wrong word. So your looks like it goes in the grid, and then we have this L to share with the other, with the following clue or the following answer. So something a teacher of Buddhism, and a teacher of at least Tibetan Buddhism is a lama, might be in other branches as well. But that's the one I definitely know. So lama, spelled like this, L-A-M-E-A, and that does fit in the grid and does share with this L with the previous word. 2 clues left for the 9. So something strike, a video game by Valve. So that is Counter-Strike now. And Counter-Strike, the word counter cannot share this A because it doesn't contain an A. So that's not going to go into the grid. So we have one clue left, and this answer then is going to go in the grid. So something river, entrance to the underworld in Greek mythology. Now here we have to be a little careful because there are a couple answers that could fit here, or at least would be a correct answer. So Styx, Styx, would be an answer for this. The river Styx is from the Greek mythology. It's not the correct answer here. Here it's Acheron. Acheron is another river in Greek mythology that you have to cross to get to the underworld. So that's going to be our answer here. It shares the A with the llama and fits all these crosses. So counter was the extra word there. And then a couple of rows left. Well, let's do this 10A. So here we have 5 clues now, 4 go in the grid. So let's see. Maximum something frequency, a limit on the radio transmission frequency between 2 given points. And this is a pretty technical term. It's maximum usable frequency. So there's sort of a physical limit which frequencies you can use to transmit between 2 points, and maximum usable frequencies is the correct term here. So that fits all these checking ladders as well, and we need to share this E now. Ubiquitous is something present, and the blank would be ever present. Ever present means the same as ubiquitous. Ever fits these E's here and shares this E with the usable. So it looks good here, and we need to share this R at least with the next word. So 10C is recto, the opposite of what? Now this is referring to the sides of a page. One side, if you open a book, one side is the recto side and one is the verso side. So it starts all the way here. V, E, R, sharing all these letters, S, and then O here. So verso is one side of the page. And then we have 2 clues left. One is going in the grid, and we are sharing this O, and obviously this H is part of it as well. Here we are 10D. Something, an area of New York, London, or Hong Kong. So all of those cities are going to have an area named the same, and that's the name is Soho. So there's a Soho in Hong Kong, there's a Soho in New York and in London. And obviously that shares this S and O with verso and fits this checking ladder. So that would mean that this 10E is going to give us an extra answer. So grandfather something, alarm something, or cuckoo something. Now, a word that you can put in any of these blanks is clock. A grandfather clock is a thing, an alarm clock, and a cuckoo clock is a thing. So clock was our extra word on that row. And we have one more row to go. Let's see what that is. 11. So we have four clues here. So we're going to be putting 3 words in the grid. And somehow we only have vowels checking, but that shouldn't matter. So something nation, a Native American reservation in the Four Corners area. Now the Four Corners area is the place where four U.S. states meet: Arizona, Colorado, New Mexico, and is it Utah? And that contains that's where the Navajo Nation lives. So Navajo. Now I've seen this spelled with a. I think I've seen this spelled with a H, but J is what I'm more familiar with. So that we should that fits all these letters, and we should be sharing this O with the next answer then. So let's see, James Earl something, U.S. actor. and that's that just need the surname of an actor, and it's James Earl Jones. So Darth Vader's voice, for example, among other things. So that fixes actually this ambiguity as well, because this is going to be J now shared with the next answer. So Jones fits here. And then we're going to share this S with the next answer. So we have 2 clues left. We still need an extra word. So one of these is going to be it. Something peninsula, a part of Egypt. And that is going in the grid that starts with this S here, and that is the Sinai Peninsula. Sinai. And that should give us a congratulations message there, indicating that we have filled the grid correctly. So Sinai sharing this S with Jones. So that would mean that 11D, which we haven't solved yet, is our extra word. So we should look at what that is. Something guy, a member of the mafia. And member of the mafia, one term for a mafia member is a wise guy. So W-I-S-E, wise, is our final extra word here. And that's our finished grid. Now, we didn't have any instructions on what to do with this grid, and we do need to find a destination here, but we haven't done anything with the extra words yet. So those are probably going to be important. So we had, let's look at what we had as extra words. So here we had outer, this outer bank. So outer was an extra word on row 7. That's actually not row 7, but I'm going to call it that because that's the number 7. Then row 8, we had, what did we have? The rim, Pacific Rim. So rim, outer rim. Then on row 9, we had an extra word that was counter. This counter didn't go in the grid from Counter-Strike. So outer rim counter. Then on row 10, we had this clock, which didn't go anywhere. Outer rim counter clock. And then this wise didn't go in the grid. Outer rim counterclockwise were the extra letters. And if we follow that instruction, if we look at the outer rim of the grid and read it counterclockwise, we are going to be spelling something. So ELY, UNQUENATIONALFOREST. Now this final part looks good because we were looking for a forest, and this final part spells forest, and this spells national, and this spells El Yunque. So it's El Yunque National Forest. And that's going to be our destination. We can just look up where that might be. So let's see where we are. Here we are, El Yunque National Forest, which is in Puerto Rico. And yeah, the only tropical rainforest in the US National Forest system. So that is where Gladys is this time, and sort of similar tropical destination that we had in the previous one. Let's look at the map what the previous one was. What am I doing? Here we are. So we were in Cuba last time in Viñales Valley, and now we are here on Puerto Rico in El Yunque National Forest, and we can zoom out to see the entire trip so far. So we started here, and now we are in the Caribbean there. And where we're going next, we don't actually know. We're going in this direction, whether we are continuing there or going back. Let's see. So this was episode 30, another crossword. I think I mentioned last time that it was going to be another cryptic. That was because I had forgotten what it was. But the next time is not a crossword. The number 31 is called Sandwiches by the Seaside, and that's a sort of sandwich Sudoku puzzle. So a bit different from this one, but we've had Sudokus before, so it should be nothing that we haven't done before. So I hope you enjoyed this one, and I will see you for episode 31. Thanks.